Oriental blossoms doing what comes natural. They all want to be in films, of course. This is a Hong Kong night school for little starlets learning to twinkle, twinkle. Doe-eyed, demure products of a delicate porcelain, kowtowing world, docile and meek. In the next-door classroom, mixing it with student actors, a few practical girls who are more likely to succeed. For Asian impact today, every fragile flower's got to know how to fight. With so much women's lib in the air, it's easy for a chap to lose his head. Another Chinese who's light on his feet and gets ahead, the last of the multi-millionaire movie moguls, Run Run Shaw.
You have heads being chopped off on camera. Mm-hmm. You have entrails being pulled out of bodies on camera. What do you do for an encore?
Well, well, we just do it.
Run Run Shaw sits in this remote corner of the Commonwealth doing what Hollywood would love to be doing, making a film every week of the year and a profit at the end of it. With his brother, Run Me, he controls the world's largest privately owned studio and cinema circuit and an annual income of £100 million. Studios around the world decline and close, but last year his assembly line produced 52 ferocious films.
People always want more. And when we first started these short play films, we have no blood. Then people say it's not exciting enough. We're putting more blood. And then the audience wants more, we put more blood. And after so many years, they get a little tired of the blood, so we reduce. And I think in the very near future, we'll cut out all the blood and just action.
Just fighting?
Just fighting.
See, I've never seen such fights, and they go on almost interminably, don't they? Don't the audiences ever get tired of this? I mean, they know the outcome. Obviously, the man in black is going to win, and the men in white are going to be dead.
Well, I think people all over the world are like that. For instance, in America, they used to produce Western pictures. And they make something like 200 or 300 Westerns a year, and for 20, 30 years. And I never heard that they are tired of the Western. All the Westerns are the same. I can guess what the people want better than most of the other producers. I guess wrong many times, but I guess a lot of times right.
One of Run Run's right guesses. After occupying Asian cinemas, he's thinking of adding London to his chain of conquered audiences. Well, we watch Westerns, so how about these Easterns? We can take spaghetti cowboys from Italy, so why not chop suey swordsmen from China? Shaw's takings are also going through the roof. This is where he produces blood, sweat and profits. His Asian Hollywood ignores television and does phenomenally well out of that disappearing product, cinema audiences. Figuring how much he earns from this film factory is like trying to follow one of his movie plots. But Shaw shockers earn double their production costs before leaving Hong Kong on their way to Chinese audiences around Southeast Asia, while reticent Run Run backs into public gaze. Shaw's movie town covers 70 acres around the Shaw House executive block, with 10 vast studios and 15 lots where they film in Shaw scope, to be seen in Shaw's 141 theatres. Inside his guarded movie town, 1,000 employees are today making 27 films. Average production time, 3 months. Shaw's silly sagas do have a certain sameness. Despite titivation by elderly lady labourers, audiences recognise the same old sets used again and again. And since Hong Kong's such a tiny, crowded colony, there are few outside locations. But for The Water Margin, Shaw's most expensive swordplay so far, with a budget of £200,000 and 80 shooting days, the company's ventured out to the new territories for a couple of weeks, bringing lots of stars and 400 extras. Some of the magic goes forever when flighty Eastern heroines turn out to be little stunt men in wigs. But fight directors and stuntmen are more important here and better paid than the actors, though not all these lighter-than-air men can keep their hair on. Rehearsing the violence that's required every other minute in Run Run's merciless movies. One of the heroes throws a sword, which in the very next scene the heavy catches, would you believe, in his teeth. He gets very cross. From Run Run, Chinese audiences get no politics, not much sex, but an endless bloodbath of historical violence. A Western cowboy can kill a man with one clean bullet, but all these Eastern swordsmen require lots of gory slashes. So if there's one thing they use more than wigs, trampolines and wooden swords, it's artificial blood. Bought by the barrel from Japan and distributed lavishly. Property men have red paint up to the elbows, and as though that wasn't enough, they tie on the walking wounded pig's intestines, which they also paint red. Any chap who's got the chop needs a potful, if he's going to be disemboweled in glorious Eastman colour. And if you're disemboweled often enough, you can get tired of the whole bloody business. The most important department in Movie Town, the dubbing theatre, where to a playback of mute action on film they record the clashing swords, the grunts and groans, the savage sounds you don't hear every day, like heads coming off. Every sound to be heard in the cinemas created here in cold blood. Film dialogues recorded in Mandarin. So, improbably, Chinese audiences often can't understand what's being said and depend upon subtitles in Cantonese and English, which have to be read to be disbelieved. In Movie Town, a good groaner is never out of a job. Born in Shanghai, Run Run's the prototype of the wily Oriental gentleman. Polite, smiling, inhospitable, usually inscrutable and aloof. Since he arrived in Hong Kong in 1961 to create his studio, he's never stopped running.
I couldn't get any land. Hong Kong is so short of land. And then I went to the government. The government said, yes, if you want land, you see, those are the lands. It's like this.
Yeah.
It's exactly like this.
Yeah.
And so I say, all right, let's have one.
One word.
Yes, one of this
One mountain.
mountain.
Yes.
And so we took one mountain, and then we took 60 feet of the mountain to make these flat pieces here.
You chop the top off?
Yes.
Yes.
And then we started to build a good studio. It was quite a gamble. We made two first films, cost us 5 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 300,000 pounds, I think. And to our satisfaction, people came to the theater and feel happy to see the Chinese movie. And then we started to put on more stages and more of everything. Of course, when we first started, we were so short of technicians. Well, Chinese, they are hardworking, they're intelligent, and in no time, they learn all the tricks. This gave us a lot of confidence that quality movie will pay.
You talk about quality films, but of course, by any other standards, your films are incredibly economic, are they not? They're very cheaply produced.
Not cheaply produced, because the labor here, compared with your part of the world, is much cheaper. If you look around our studio, you see our settings are very expensively built. The same setting, if it is built in the studios in your country, then it may cost 10, 20, or 50 times, I don't know.
Your films have often been criticized as bloodthirsty potboilers. The formula so far has been no sex, but lots of blood and sadism. Now, is this a Chinese appreciation of entertainment?
Chinese, I think that the youngsters all over the world, they like sex. And the Chinese cannot be exceptions. But being in this part of the world, we have certain restrictions.
Your audience would be shocked by sex.
Yes.
But they're not shocked by an entrails being pulled out.
I agree. I think that is the feeling, at least I know.
So it's strange that cinema audiences are falling off everywhere in the world, except, it seems, for your films here in this part of the world.
Well, I think in your country, I'm just making comparison. You have so many things to do. You can drive out, you can have water skiing, plenty of concerts, dancing halls to go, while in this part of the world there are less places to go. And the only place that they can get entertained is the cinemas.
What about good old television?
Well, for Hong Kong, the accommodations are so expensive. People cannot afford to have big rooms for their accommodation, and television occupies quite space in the room. So they have not enough space to put in their television set. People go to the cinemas. They either want to get excited or to be amused. So there you are. We have to give some kind of excitement. In order to give it a change, we inject some fantasy scenes in the movie.
But do you reach a point where they'll accept it no longer, where they'll laugh at it?
Well, anything new in the movie they like to see. Like everything else, if you give them too much, then they get tired.
But, I mean, they will accept that a woman can fly.
Well, in the Chinese books, thousands of volumes, they describe the man can fly and jump, so we follow the books.
But there's no point when the audience starts laughing, which is a very corrosive thing.
Well, if you're overdoing, they can fly 10 feet, 20 feet, but when you start with 100 feet high, then it's become impossible and the people laugh.
That's impossible, I see. 50 feet's all right. What about your stars? Once you've created them, do they ever become temperamental and prima donna-ish? You see, sometimes they're working, 10 or 12 hours a day?
Not sometime, or most of the time. Everybody is busy. And they got to work. And this is the business. Everybody got to work.
And how many films will they make a year, one of your stars?
Well, they make between 4 to 6
Each year?
each year. Sometimes they make 3 films at the same time, and to do 2 shifts, day and night.
Midnight in Movie Town, but within each studio, the Shaw machine grinds on. Sunlight floods this romanticized setting of old China as the night shift takes over. If Run Run has a recipe for success, it's plenty of mileage out of everything and everybody, and direct autocratic dealing with staff and artists. No unions or agents intervene, and there's no special treatment for stars. Leading actors get no chairs with their names on the backs, and should they be late on set, they're sacked. There are no strong unions to insist that several men do one man's job, and at night only performers get a lie down. In the studio next door, starlets pursue a more usual activity. The difficult bits performed, of course, by those creepy little stunt men in wigs, doubling for the actresses.
OK。camera。咁得啦，咁閃啊嘛。前啲啦，企前啲啦。嗱，佢哋太過短啦。大姐，你係咪要快？1、2、3。哦。咪得啦。木箱啊！我揾繩，揾繩我控制。人哋唔識撐噶嘛，你估我嚟嘅咩？哦，零食下你木箱啦。屌，呢度幾個人攔住噶嘛？頂住啊！得啦。上埋得。好啦，得一個。
In Run Run's movies, there's no limit to the things that can happen to a girl.
Have you ever had to fire one of your stars?
Of course, there are no good ones, so we have to replace those no good ones with good ones.
Ones that weren't satisfactory in their acting ability. What about other reasons for being fired?
Oh yes, of course. We want them to live normally. If tomorrow there's a shooting day, we want them to go to bed a little earlier so that they can work better. If they go out to a nightclub and stay late, next morning they come back to work, they were a little red in the eyes, the color films exaggerates, and the little red become very red. So we have to warn them not to do it, and if they don't want to listen, then we change them.
You're also concerned, I believe, about their moral probity, are you not? You expect
Yes.
your young girls to be chaperoned and so on.
Of course we do, but we can do so much and no more.
But if you have them living in the dormitories here, you have much more control over them, of course.
Yes, of course. We know their movement, the time they leave the dormitory, time they come back. And if they go out too much, we ask questions.
Really?
Yes.
But how do you know? Your gateman checks their time.
No, there's every building, a dormitory building, there's one supervisor. And we watch.
What other limitations would you put upon the private lives?
Well, if they are working, it's very strict. If they are not working, we relax.
Run Run constantly recruits unknowns to maintain his stable of 82 actors and 38 actresses, most of them living in rather basic dormitories. Today, for our benefit no doubt, Betty Lee Ching uses the Showplace flat. Faces known throughout Asia, actresses mobbed in Hong Kong streets may be earning only a few pounds for their 60-hour week. But such is the glamour of this unreal world that throughout Southeast Asia, many thousands long to share their confinement, their studio cars. Run Run's stars need looks to suit Oriental tastes, but acting ability is unimportant. Every line they speak will be dubbed by someone else, all that leaping about doubled by stunt men. They'll learn to flash their eyes in close-up, to wield a plywood sword, and go into a chaste clinch with an equally wooden hero. They'll be hard up and harassed, but famous and loved by millions. Even interviewed, like Betty Tsing Pei, by visiting television men. There's only a lightweight pot of gold at the end of Run Run's rainbow. It's just about every girl's ambition to be a film star, which is what you were. How did it happen?
I was a student at the time, and I work for film and to be an actress, just part-time job. And then after I worked for Central Motion Movie Company 1 year, and then I got a contract with Shaw Brothers. And then I decided to come to Hong Kong, to be a professional.
Did you go to acting school? Did you have to learn how to
no.
act? You didn't? It just
No.
came naturally?
I think so.
Mr. Shaw was telling me that he's pretty severe with his starlets. He doesn't like them to keep late hours because their eyes get red.
Well,
You haven't done any of these sword fighting movies that
no.
all the other girls do.
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
don't-
Can't you fight like any other girl?
Well, yes, I can. I can do this in modern film, but the company think the soul fighting film doesn't suit me, and I don't like myself. So I do a most comedy musical film.
You sing, do you, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do.
Do they use your own voice in your films, or are you dubbed by someone else?
Dubbed.
Are you?
Yeah.
Isn't that a pity? Aren't you sorry about that?
No, I wanted that way.
Really?
Mm.
How many films do you make a year, incidentally?
4 films, yeah.
4. What about love and sex in films? Do you have any sex in your films?
Yes, not much.
Oh.
Not like the European films. I don't know.
How far can you go?
How far? Pajamas?
No topless.
No.
Non-permissive Chinese audiences like their stars young. So the luckiest, most talented of these hopefuls, selected from thousands for free training, will be a has-been by the time she's 25. 4 years at drama school wouldn't help. By graduation, they'd be over age.
I want to be a TV star.
Do you? Not an actress.
Well, not an actress in Hong Kong.
Oh, why
I mean,
not?
European.
I wish I can be a good actress.
Yes. You might be taken under contract by the Shaw people.
Maybe if my result is going to be good.
I hope to be best actress.
Yes.
Movie star.
A movie star.
Yes.
What do you think about the Shaw movies, incidentally? What about all this sword play and the fighting? Do you like them?
Very much.
Do you? All that blood?
What?
All that blood?
Mm-hmm.
People's heads being chopped off?
Bloody smell, I like it. I like it. I like bloody smell. Very exciting.
I don't understand this, because you're supposed to be delicate, fragile little girls. How can you like all this people having their stomachs opened up and their heads chopped off?
I don't know. It gives us excitement.
Does it? Does it excite you, Monica?
Yes, very much.
I'm a bit disappointed in you lot. Come through here. Do you like all this blood and thunder?
No, I don't like it.
You don't?
It makes me feel
Sick.
sick, yes.
Me too.
Most popular Chinese actor today is an ex-stuntman, a sort of Oriental swordsman's James Bond. created by and contracted to Run Run. David Chang.
I can say we don't got lots of money, but we earn enough. And even not a lot of money, but we enjoy the work.
Yes. If I said you got around £1,000 a picture, might that be fair? Would that be accurate?
Well, I think so.
About £1,000 a picture?
Around £1,000 picture.
How many pictures would you do a year?
Around 4 to 5 or 6.
I see. So the very top star then would get £5,000 a year for the kind of audience that you attract. I mean, you've got a tremendous following. That doesn't seem a lot of money to me. How many hours do you do a day normally?
Around 10 hours.
10 hours. And how many days a week?
Well, let's take 330 days a year. Around.
Really?
Last year, I counted already. Last year, I make 330 days a year.
Now, some of the actors I see work at night as well. They have a second shift.
Yeah, sometimes they make two different pictures in a day. They have to make 20 hours. They only take 4 hours left, and then work again.
Wouldn't you rather have a nice, safe job in an office?
I don't think so.
When you became an actor, what did you find was the most difficult thing?
Well, you know, before I was a stuntman, I just to be was killed so many times, and change when I'm an actor. The most different thing is I kill a lot.
Instead of being killed, you're killing other people.
Yes, except being killed. Yeah, I kill a lot of people.
Which is best?
Well, I think being killed is bad.
Being killed?
Yeah, because last year I've been killed around 5 to 6 times. Every time I got $2, lucky money. $2 Hong Kong, lucky money. That's why I like to be killed.
Now, what about your brother, now, Paul?
Yes.
Are you a hero or a villain?
Hero.
You're a hero too, so
Yes.
you win as well.
Yes. But not all the time, you know, but we usually win, you know, but well, sometimes we lose and we got killed at the end of the picture.
Oh, you got killed?
Well, sometimes, yes.
Well, I've never seen that one, because in the movies I see, the heroes don't even lose a single battle. I mean, you have about 30 people fighting you, and you handle them very easily. You see, you have so much blood and guts in it, don't you? Everybody's bleeding, the entrails are coming out, and their heads are coming off, and they're being chopped up. I think it's too much for Western taste, don't you see?
Well, me also, I can't take it because we're making this because of our Chinese audience. They like to see it.
Why are they so bloodthirsty, the Chinese?
Well, not because they're so, bloodthirsty, right? But they all like to see the hero kill lots of people.
Because for the Oriental people, including Hong Kong people and the Taiwan people and any other places, those people, they are living a very unsteady life, you know, and they are looking for excitement. They're seeking for money and all this, you know, they're rushing for money, they're working, you know.
Yes.
And after their work, I think they are very much looking for the excitement, you know.
Yes.
So they, if they go, you know, paying a little money and go to the cinema and to see the picture, they love to see all this excitement, you know, bleeding and you know, like you just said, you know, cutting off the head or something like this, you know. Yeah.
But what about love or sex or music or singing or happiness? What about that sort of old-fashioned stuff?
Well, but not nowadays, you know. I mean, people. The audience nowadays they don't appreciate, you know, these kind of films. Not anymore. They rather like they are sword fighting films, you know.
Just blood.
You can say that again. I think so.
Run Run's built a monolithic mansion inside his movie town compound so he can oversee his empire and be safe from kidnappers. His 2 barrister sons were snatched, one ransomed for a large sum, the other escaping from the gang's car. But so far, no reckless gangsters risked a go at Run Run.
When I was in Singapore, many years ago, 10 years ago, when the kidnapping business was very serious, I had my car well fixed, like electrical shock. I had wireless siren, and I have another electric siren. Once I press the button in the car, then the siren will make plenty of noise, and anybody touches the car, he will get a shock.
I've seen it said that you personally are worth more than £20 million.
I cannot tell you how much I'm worth. In fact, I don't know. But I never worry about money, and all I know is I have enough to feed my children, my grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren.
Do you have any interest outside the movie business?
Yes. I have a lot of other businesses, real estate, banking, and other businesses.
Well, that's all money again. I was really thinking something outside the financial field.
Well, it's somehow or other it's tying with my business. We have printing businesses. We publish magazines. We print our own tickets. We have so many theaters. We have a chain of 141 theaters that we own. So we need all those subsidiary companies to keep our theaters going.
But if you'd ever take a holiday, what would you do?
Well, I enjoyed 1 or 2 days, and after 1 or 2 days I felt miserable. I want to come back and do something.
You want to be back in the mill again?
Well, it is always a pleasure to work.
What sort of films do you prefer yourself, incidentally?
Well, I like artistic films and light, but my liking is not all is to it. What the people want, that's what I'm trying to do. So we follow the trend. If they like action pictures, we make all action pictures. But we want to be prepared. So we make pilot films, a comedy, a drama, a James Bond type of modern action pictures, and so forth. And those pictures, sometimes the public never want. That went wrong.
The experiments are wrong.
Yes. But when we make the films that the public want, cannot go wrong.
Talking about the films that don't go down too well, the critics aren't always very pleased with your films, and I see that this weekend there's been a review of your latest Vengeance of a Snowbird that's showing at 12 cinemas here in Hong Kong, and the critics said it's the silliest film released in many years.
Well, I don't think the public go to a movie after they read the critics.
You've abolished, or at least you've downgraded, the star system. You don't have anything like a private dressing room for your stars.
There's no secret in this business. Once you have to depend on the stars, then it becomes a headache, and you will have troubles from the stars all the time. And so we plan in such a way that we don't depend on stars too much. And after all, the trend today is that the picture that is what one is wanted, not the star. If a big star in a poor picture, it will not sell ticket. And if a good picture without star, it will do good business just the same. I don't like to have some special treatment for a special star. After all, everybody is working the same way. Why should we treat one better than the others?
But you want to keep them humble.
Well, I think this is usually the Chinese way. We are humble race.
Please, is it?
Hello. Hey, hey,
This powerful member of that humble race plans to invade Western cinemas with his hundreds of Easterns, which are not all Chinese junk. They're stylized, technically good, and, as you've seen, full of fight.
One day, maybe your people begin to like to see Chinese swordplay films. Then we have another few 100 million people.
That's true, yes. You've already got cinemas in the United States, and you're thinking of opening one in London, I gather.
Yes, we like to open theaters in all the key spots all over the world and to introduce Chinese films.
The point is, do you think you're ready for Run Run's movies? Bear in mind, this is one of the gentle ones.
关老板，你真英雄！啊，关老板，你也受伤了，快扶关老板去养伤。是。不用了。